Hello and welcome. Today is day number 31 for the month, and it is hour number 11 for the day. It's 10:38 a.m. Eastern Time. It's a day for me, but not for the market because I guess it'd be hour number 15 for the market on the time frames when they close at. All bets, trades, of the like, well, that's within each his own risk and their own reward. As the price action on Bitcoin, we're going to first show it on the Bitstamp exchange. It managed to get above the level of resistance in here on the 26th. Several pause days grinding lower, and then yesterday having a very volatile outside day as it was able to go up over 9,000 up to 9,100 on Bitstamp. And these are all highs not seen in over a year, and of course, year to date highs as well. And then the price action made lows not seen since the breakout day, pretty much giving it all back. And also coming back to where it came from, coming back within the 18, deep within the 18, but not quite to the 18 average of lows, and thus in a correctionary phase. And during this bull market, since it started this year, when markets come down to the 18, it has usually been like very, very good. And in times when it wasn't, meaning down in here, it managed to work out. And this was at the bottom. So since it got above the level of resistance, this is when all sell-offs are guilty until proven innocent. So here's a sell-off, it's guilty. Can you prove it innocent? No. Another sell-off, okay, guilty. Can you prove it innocent? No. Another sell-off in here, okay, no. Now another one here, no. And now another one, no. And we'll see. And even if it does end up doing a spot where, okay, let's break that level and end this bull market and turn it into a bear market on the daily term time frame, and in such, that would be a correctionary move on the weekly term. For, of course, the price action in here, when we look at well, beforehand, that's the wrong, I wanted to, as it got above and started this bull market into play, all sell-offs are guilty until proven innocent. So there's a few there. There was one there. There was one there. This was guilty. This one was guilty. This one was guilty. And then it did this. And then it did this. And well, in here, that's really the neutrality mode within what is from a great uptrend and really a negative pattern, which is a descending triangle. And then that became bear market city. So from here on in, all rallies are guilty until proven innocent. And okay, so this is guilty until proven innocent. Oh, you're doing this. Okay, you're proved innocent. And really, that's what it comes down to is how it reacts within its correctionary phase. So it managed to have its original push before, which was this in here. The original push, and then another push. Two moves. And that's what the correctionary move was. We look at this next on a monthly chart. And amongst this, all in here, all sell-offs are guilty until proven innocent. And in here, okay, guilty. Oh, you're trying to prove me innocent. Okay, good luck. Nope, doesn't look like you're doing it. Because price action, when you go down below there, that's trying to revert the trend. Again, the stage numbers 1 to 4. Well, if it was a bear move, and that's why from here it was both bullish and bearish to rally to 6,000, as I stated. On a bearish level, that's probably where it would have topped. And then it would have showed some weakness, and then in time, whether it be quick, gradual, or later, you would have had a significant leg lower. That hasn't happened. Now, it has managed to get above the 18 average of highs. And the last time it managed to get above the 18 average of highs after being in the lows would have been here in 2016. Before that, I don't know. It's still a very new chart, a very new market. And there is most certainly reason for big changes like this in monetary systems to play out when every single global banking monetary model is almost like a bunch of bombs ready to, or grenades just ready to go off at any time kind of deal, explosive. I don't know. That's the way I look at it. Is in that, well, it's a debt-based system. It guarantees debt, so that means civilians, businesses, companies, corporations, even companies, not companies, countries, your own nations. Everyone's in debt, and you'd have to think that the average debt in the world should be nothing. Because if I was in debt $100 and I owed 100 to say Steve, well then Steve is negative 100. He has 100 in accounts receivable, at least within that trade. So for what every one person owes, then another one receives. Now, who are the accounts receivable holders? Well, banking systems, it looks like. That's where the whole grenade, the bombs type of stuff that I look at. So new monetary systems come into play. I don't like the chances fiat currencies survives. I'm surprised it survived this long, because I was looking back at this 11 years ago, 11 and a half, and I'm thinking, wow, game over. How long is this going to take? 2, 3, 4 years? Oh, 11, 12, 14, 15, maybe 20. But what's going to work in the end? Cryptocurrencies, and if so, which ones? Into what type of gains can they come in? And if not, is there still going to be legs higher that end up failing beforehand? Meaning, if this is to break the level of resistance in here and go to some extreme levels, up to like this is 1.8 million. Just even here, because this is like we're talking about a failing situation. I'm just going through all the possibilities. So we talk about it does its thing, maybe it gets above it here, breaks resistance, and then it does something like that. We get there maybe March of 2022. And that's it for Bitcoin. It could be over. But for me as a trader, if I'm able to have this go up to here, and then it does its thing, and then goes like that, then from what I would lose from here to here in cryptos would be very noticeable. What I would profit take in here would be much, the amount of gold and silver that I'd be able to get. And what would happen if this happened to cryptos? Well, that would be a big benefit, of course, to that of the precious metals. And then using a Model T example, Model T was the first car, and of course, vehicles, automobiles, huge innovation. Something we have developed amazingly or nicely over what now is little over 100 years. And in such, things got better. So now, cryptocurrencies, block wave technology. Well, the first little bit of this blockchain, Bitcoin and Litecoin, we're talking Model T variances here. We're talking the early ones. Who knows in 2024, 2025, 26 what type of adoptions are just going to be so amazing that it could be something I've never heard of that becomes the next big thing, because nobody's heard of it yet because it hasn't been created, invented, discovered, and so on. And maybe some people have because they're discovering and inventing it right now. I don't know. But it's going to be up to me to realize, okay, during this time frame, if this is coming in, do I put cryptos into this? And if I see it's a good thing, then as far as diversification, then yeah, now I don't know what I'm drawing with all this. I'm just going to go like this. Remove all drawing tools, put this to auto, and now let's take a look at Bitcoin on the short term time frame. So as I started off the daily chart, here we are, yesterday's sell-off 4-hour term. Let's put that line back in because I like putting horizontal rays in. Where do we want to go? This high, this high, this high, really right around here. And I say that because of this level right in here. This is where it resisted. And it resisted close to it here, pierce above here, tried to get above there. And it was in that area for so much. So that was the big level from where it was, where it came from. And whenever you break it and you have a decent enough move, and I look at it as in, yeah, that's a decent enough move, this break in here. It managed to get well above the 18, correct within it, have a failed breakdown, but much, much larger failed breakout, attempting to, of course, go to that 10,000 level that I'm talking about. That really was the next level on the break. But this very, very fast sudden decline. And since then, how has the market reacted? Three sideways, and this one is a very positive green candle in place. As we can see in here, that just going a little sideways, supporting this, and now it's broken above all of these short-term levels of resistance. And we're going to take a look at this more on the short term. And yeah, this it's price objective. If right now the early look is 86.41. That's where it came from. And let me just get rid of that. And let's see what we can see shorter term amongst the move, hour time frame. So there's the great move higher. A lot of the sideways consolidations that happen afterwards. Again, there's your failed breakdown in here that happened at midnight as May 29th started. And then it managed to successfully regain and go back to where it came from. So failed move, fast move higher. Technically it hit. Now we have this move because it broke above resistance here at 89.17, broke above resistance at 89.38. So I'll put another line in because I'm going to be looking at this on the 50 and 5. So there's that break above, failed break out above here, fast move lower. And since then, 3x hit at the where it came from point. And now we can see, okay, down move, all rallies, guilty until proven innocent. Boom, down we go. Guilty until proven innocent. Okay, and then as it hits this low and starts to come back, it's like, oh, you're starting to prove me innocent, and it looks like it just has. At least now it's attempting to revert the trend on the 4. On the single hour on the single hour rather. On the 15, well, that's that short-term level of resistance that I was mentioning that I got above. We have this point in here, and we have this point in here as well. So it's a little bit of a range. I'm just going to bring this back up. This was that real big range of resistance on the very short term from last night's bottom to where it rallied to. And whenever you have these moves in bull markets, it's very common that you might have a good leg or two here and lower, but it's going to recover it within time. And that's what it's looking like it's doing right now. And the move in here, establishing this resistance, coming back down. Retesting this little area in here, which is why I put the double line in, because it wasn't able to get to it at this point. But after its pullback, magnificently making a higher low. And now that's 2 higher lows that have come into play. So after leaving the 18 average, it managed to get above this level of resistance and now support it for a several amount of periods. And in viewing such with less candles from the move, there's your resistance that it comes up to, back, attempting to get above it in here. There's the high in here, unable to do so, just piercing above, matching that previous level. But since then, it hasn't made any noticeable. This is where you'd expect a lower high rally to come in. If it's going to start to flatten out the band, neutralize the situation. So it looks to me short term as if when we move into the next hour, 2-3 hours. So for the rest of the morning into the early afternoon, it looks like there should be a decent chance that we see some of these higher prices that we just move this on. And again, just take a look at more data. Maybe we'll fill some Fibonacci numbers because that's fun to do. But before I do that, I want to just see how close these numbers were amongst the 3 Bitcoin exchanges I got. So how close are the lows? So 8,000 and barely over 9. Excellent. Okay. What does Bitfinex have? A little over 9, and I know they'd be pretty much the same. That's good to know. And Coinbase, a little over 9. So that all of these work out really, really well. So let's do some Fibonacci because if there were like big lows where one exchange got to like 98.10, another exchange got to 93.10 and whatever 93 and change, and another one just to 91. What do I do there? But if they're all around the same, I can work with it. Okay, so the high in here is $9,096.79. And this low, and I don't need as many periods now after seeing that, 8,000 even. That's easy to write in. Key numbers are 80, 402, and 8661. Well, 8402 has most certainly been significant. For it originally pierced below it the first time. Interesting. Pretty much had it right on at first. Let's get rid of that annoying ad. There's a lot of ads today. I was even thinking a little while ago, like, wow, there hasn't been as many lately. Like 5, 10 days ago, 7. But today they're really bombarding it. But we'll see how long it lasts. And anyway, 84, 8661 is the next one on the list, or for Fibonacci. And that tells me that if there's going to be a break from where it's congesting from in here, then that's where it could go up to. Now, if you were looking for this to go up to here, if you bet the number, you would have not hit your sell order, at least until here. If you did a pierce above, same thing again. And if you did a pierce below just to be safe, well, maybe you were trading, you sold here, maybe you bought down here. I don't know. But regardless of the fact, this was a really rarer pierce below hit of Fibonacci, but it did these little things in these levels that it's supposed to do, and that uh, obviously, well, let's just see what the 23.6 number was. That was 82.46. So it worked out that that's where it held and stayed above. But again, uh, this is where next target is from move to point A to point B. As long as it can hold and stay below this level, then this move is still bearish. Thus, it is still technically doing that. And anything up to this point puts it to neutrality. And and if it can hold, stay above this and breaking by, well, that tells you this move is a failure. Probably you're going to go up to previous high, and if you're in a bull market phase, which we are, pretty decent chance there after that it's going to make it to another level of resistance thereafter. All right then, just a long video today amongst BTC. Really nothing too much major else going on. Bitcoin Cash is having a decent breakout day. Let's just quickly take a look at that. It's retested that big resistance. That's fine because it had a pretty decent breakdown the other day. And look at how in the 15, how it's just showing a lot of the strength above the 18 average of highs, not at, above the 18 average. I haven't seen too much of this before. That was a nice setup there on the 15. I know if it had better volatility, let's fix that problem. It might look a little bit better. 522.2 is where I'll put my line in, I guess. Wrong code. Yeah, so in here you were seeing strength at the 18 average of highs. There's that another ad. And so many periods. Let's see less periods. So there we have all that strength, and up move it goes. So that's a nice setup there. Let's take a look at this on the single hour because there was the big decline. And of course this Fibonacci goes back for quite some time. And on the single hour time frame, band is flattened out. Now 2 it has established a level of resistance. So in the hour, attempting to revert the trend, if it's able to do so, it looks just blindly here that the next level of resistance above here would be about the 5392 handle. And as mentioned, of course, on the Fibonacci here, the daily chart, breaking above this, it would just be magnificent. There we go, got the line longer. All these resistance hits, so many times, so many chances to break out for a big gain. As we had first come off here, and multiple chances within those days there. Chance in here, didn't do it. Chance in here, didn't do it. Over a sum of 3 days, and over the third one especially, having that failed breakout, but really just establishing this point even further. And then 2 days ago, having that attempt. And now it looks like it's going to try to attempt it again. So the more likely it is that you test these levels of resistance, well, the more likely it is that you do take them out. I know I won't have much data here on the weekly, but even with the data that I do show in here, this does say a lot with just the limited periods. I'll even ignore this little line in here for what it means on an open. But there is a decent decline, get it all back. High or low it, basically cup and handle this. This is the cup and handle neckline, which coincides with the fib. Now it gets above it barely and microscopically gets below it, congesting above and below overall, which really shows the strength that this has in getting above here, where it should have a nice little quick move, you would think, to previous high in here at around the 66. And because the way I look at it, point A low, point B high, this low, just a little bit high there, and the correctionary move there, I would be thinking at minimum it goes to here, and realistically it'd probably be a break above it, and maybe even go to the point 0.1 number and maybe a bit higher. Thank you for tuning in. Now, you know what? Since I'm doing a big bonus video of Bitcoin Cash, I'm just going to quickly go over this against the US dollar. 436. Yes, there's not much to go over on it, but nicely well extended. It's gotten above these levels of highs. On the daily chart, it is just continuously and still in that, another ad, grinding its way amongst the 18. So it's another way of saying it has been showing strength at the 18 average of highs really since it first corrected back down here on May the 17th for the last half of this month. Showing a lot of nice strength that established this resistance at 455. It congested, it came close to it here. It's really congested in that area for 1, 2, 3, 4, and today being the fifth day amongst it. That's where the bullish signs I like, when you have situations where you go up to a level, but you don't spend relatively too much time, and it was most certainly a new high at the time, because this was a big level, so it extended a big high. It really didn't spend any time above this for much time at all. But when you're able to now spend all that time in that area, that's like that little bullish things that I look for, and that gives me indication that as we move on to the next 1, 6, 7, or 15 days, however long it takes, that there's a good chance that this thing could continue on higher and make just that, another leg up. Thank you for tuning in and have yourself a great day. Bye bye.